The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes reignited interest in the series with an ambiguous ending for Lucy Gray-Baird, one of the film's central protagonists. The Hunger Games series of books by Suzanne Collins was adapted to film starting in 2012, starring Jennifer Lawrence as Katniss Everdeen, and exploring the dystopian future world of Panem. The central premise of the novels revolves around the concept of the Hunger Games, for which it is named, where dozens of children are forced to fight to the death for the entertainment of the capital, and to remember their lower status. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is a prequel story released in 2020, which depicts the early life of the future antagonist, Coriolanus Snow, Tom Blythe. The story was then adapted to film in 2023, and the movie follows the book's trajectory with Snow connecting with District 12 tribute Lucy Gray-Baird, Rachel Zegler, before the couple falls apart and go their separate ways. Both the book and the film leave Lucy Gray-Baird's fate ambiguous when Snow and Baird grow suspicious of each other, and Snow fires a gun into the woods. One theory about what happened to Lucy Gray is that she survived, either unharmed or with a gunshot wound. When Snow returned to District 12, he was immediately transported back to the capital, and despite Lucy Gray winning the 10th annual Hunger Games, the event was much less of a spectacle at that time, so it could reasonably be assumed that she was able to avoid attention. Lucy Gray was skilled at evading capture, so assuming she was able to lie low for a short period, possibly even in the cabin, she could potentially return to District 12. However, as Snow comes into power, it is likely that he would have continued searching for Lucy Gray, and District 12 would likely have been the first place he looked. Given his influence, it is less likely she could have stayed hidden there for so long. Watching the Hunger Games prequel, it is not hard to see similarities between Lucy Gray and Katniss Everdeen. In fact, Lucy Gray is even shown to do the mock bow that Katniss gives to the judges of the games, highlighting their shared rebellious nature. Lucy Gray was a young woman during the events of the 10th annual Hunger Games, at just 16 years old. Katniss was also 16 years old when she took part in the 74th annual Hunger Games, 64 years later. Depending on when and if Lucy Gray eventually had children, she may be the grandmother or great-grandmother to Katniss Everdeen. In the books, Katniss' father is described as having dark hair and olive skin, just as Lucy Gray did. Katniss' father also had a beautiful singing voice, and taught his daughter the song, The Hanging Tree, which Lucy Gray wrote. If Lucy Gray did return to District 12 and live out a life, it is reasonable to assume she raised her children with the same love of music, rebellious spirit, and energy, just as Katniss' father raised her. However, if Lucy Gray was too recognizable after winning the Hunger Games and Snow continued to have guards assigned to notify him if she ever appeared, it's reasonable to assume she could have ended up elsewhere. While it would strengthen the connection between the characters, making them literal relatives instead of just two people who share the same fighting spirit seems unnecessary. Lucy Gray traveled around the districts of Panem as a performer with her adoptive family. Lucy could have heard rumors about the existence of District 13, despite its supposed destruction, and chose to run there for refuge after being attacked by President Snow. Lucy Gray could have been welcomed in by the rebel forces that continued to live in District 13 and became an active part of the rebellion. Considering her song, The Hanging Tree, was regarded by others as a rebellion song, her music could have served as a rallying cry to those living underground in the deserted district. This feels like a likely plan for Lucy Gray, as she would understand that she could not have a life in Panem's known districts as long as Snow was around. It would also fit her personality, as District 13 seems to symbolize freedom from Snow's rule by maintaining the spirit of the rebellion.